What's good, y'all? It's your guy Bendu.
And your boy SM Young.
And yo, we coming at y'all with this what are we reviewing today? We're reviewing Splendor in the Grass.
Yeah.
It's like, nah, if y'all saw the thumbnail, you already know we doing this fucking bad batch John, bro. You heard? Dog, off rip, bro. What did you like? Like it's so much I want to say, but I think I'm gonna start on my favorite aspect of it. And honestly, the cinematography and tone. They nailed this
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah.
Like,
I enjoyed the introduction of the new character, which, I think we'll wait until, later in the review to kind of, throw
okay,
that out
okay.
there.
Yeah.
But
So
uh
I guess we'll start from the beginning of the episode because I know you had your gripes with the beginning of the episode.
yeah. Yeah, let's just say it has to do a little bit with this right here.
Is
You
that
know,
canon?
Is
Canon?
that yeah? Is it canon? I don't know. Is a lot of stuff canon? We'll find
What's
out.
the deal with canon? Shouts out to Harlow. But yeah, man. Like, so I guess we'll just start on that because we have differing views on that, and I believe myself to have the high ground on this. So I'm Obi-Wan in
Okay,
this
okay.
situation.
If you want to take Obi-Wan as your fighter, let's see if I get the link for
So I get because I remember reading the comic book and enjoying the comic book. Like I fuck with the comic book because I fuck with Kanan. Kanan's one of my favorite Jedi. Like he's in my top 5 Jedis personally.
it. Yeah, yeah, same here.
So I get people's gripes with the change that they made, especially with Depa Delaba. Is that how you say her name? I hope I'm
Yeah,
pronouncing her name right.
yeah, yeah.
But because I like her as his master. Like she was badass from like the comic book and everything. Like so it was like, yo, you know who she kind of reminds me of? She reminds me of Jon Stewart's girlfriend from the Justice League cartoon, the one in the Green Lantern Corps that trained him.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
she kind of reminds me of her a little bit. But yeah, so just go ahead and run through your thoughts on it because I personally liked the retcon they made.
Um, for me, it's like I feel like what you said earlier, it kind of ran through my mind. We were talking about how basically the comic and the show kind of diverge with the telling of how Kanan basically his master dies and basically like the clone battalion that he was with and basically the war that they were fighting. Like in the comic, they depict it. It's totally different and when it comes down to Caleb Doom basically being chased by a trooper instead of the trooper that it was that fought with him and his master, it's one of the Bad Batch, which I kind of have a gripe with because there's actually characters in the comic that I feel like are being drawn like basically being retconned out. I just smacked the mic. That's how mad I am right now. No, no, I'm not too pissed because the fact is that I feel like with the way that the show went on afterwards, it still feels like okay, yeah, we got a Kanan origin, but I like the comics origin because of the connection between him and there's another trooper. I still couldn't find the name. Maybe in the comments somebody could tell us. But basically it was a trooper and him connecting because of how fresh and new they are to the Clone Wars,
Yeah.
which it is kind of hard because when you're a Jedi and a Padawan, you can't really connect like that to your master unless it's through technique and the Force. But when it comes down to feelings and stuff like that, which you're really not supposed to have, but like the thoughts and everything like that about the Clone Wars, I feel like they connect it through, the feeling of being outcasted by the rest of the troopers or picked on by the other troopers. They
Mhm.
connect it through, which, it sucks because we didn't get to see that happen in this. They could say it happened beforehand, like you said, but that's all gone now. And then also on Caller, there's a guy that he meets that teaches Kanan the scoundrel ways and stuff like that. That was working for the Separatists. We
Mhm.
don't get to see that either. That's how like they actually know of each other, and then they meet up. And when the Clone Wars basically ends after Order 66, he's about to leave on his ship, and basically Kanan sneaks on his ship, and that's when he's like, "Oh,
Gotcha.
you're the Jedi Padawan, blah blah blah." I could sell you off. He kind of does like a Yandu, where he's like, "Oh, I could give you to the
I
thing, or I could eat you, whatever."
get you.
Yeah, yeah. So I feel like it was a
He may have been
big
your
waste.
father, boy, but he wasn't
Yeah.
your daddy.
But that's what it is. I feel like it was definitely a missed opportunity. I feel like that was probably my biggest gripes with the episode. Other than that, dude, I feel like with the rest of the episode, it carried on, and
Mhm.
it definitely felt like they took good steps for a coming back to Clone Wars, which I thought
Yeah,
was never gonna happen, dude.
I
Like,
didn't either, bro. I didn't either.
yeah, so it's
I'll
definitely
but I'll comment on that aspect of it too, because I definitely can get what you're saying. Because you definitely you basically feel like they undercut Kanan's backstory to serve the Bad Batch's backstory. That's basically what you're
yeah,
saying, right?
yeah.
Gotcha.
But it's like you know what? At the same time, it's like all right, pick and choose. I'm more of a Clone Trooper fan, but I love Jedi and stuff like
Which
that.
is weird because
So
I'm the Jedi guy, you're the clone guy, and I'm fucking with
yeah,
the clone
yeah,
story opposed to the Jedi. Yeah, yeah.
yeah. So it's like okay, you know what? We switched sides on this time, but I feel like I still won the argument.
I I have the high ground, high ground. But
High ground. No, it's
all
not
right,
the high ground way.
so just off rip though, I kind of like the confrontation they just build up right off rip between Crosshair and Hunter, because it's like
Yeah,
they were, they came up, their whole thing was, we don't follow orders, bro, we don't do that
yeah,
around here.
yeah,
But as you know, something came up later, we figure out why. But it's like just seeing that deterioration of the relationship going, like, to me that was the crux of the episode. And it kind of, like, honestly, bro, it gave me like Winter Soldier and Apocalypse Now type vibes in terms of like how they deal with war and things like that.
yeah. It definitely felt like like it definitely felt like a departure from Clone Wars, especially the final season. Well, the only final, they were only in the final season,
Yeah.
but it felt like a departure from the synergy that we saw. Them working together, synergy was a whole entire thing. That's like their feng shui, is that when it comes down to fighting clankers, they're taking them out together. They're using each
Mhm.
ability as a whole, and to see them disagree like on kind of like what's that like orders and stuff like that or
Uh-huh.
whatever, it just it's like wow, like this is like kind of like it got heated up like
Yeah.
real quick.
Yeah. And that's where it's like, I felt like they, like with Clone Wars sometimes, and even with Rebels, of course, with Rebels, because it was on Disney XD, I think that's what it was called back then. But they, to me, sometimes they lean too much into like the humor and the childish humor, but they didn't do that here. Like a lot of the humor, like it worked, like kind of like adult teenage humor and shit like that. Like
Yeah, yeah.
it wasn't like fart jokes and things like that. Like
Yeah, and it was nice to see how much the Bad Batch are outcast to their own brethren. Like, because you
yeah.
know how, like, in Clone Wars, the final season, we saw how they didn't like the Regs. But then
Mhm.
when you go to Camino and they're sitting at the lunch table, I know it's not because of the inhibitor chips, but they were actually being like kind of like despised, even though like that's you know
But
that's
it's
what
kind of
they
like how
did.
they treated the janitor from the Clone Wars
Yeah,
before he
yeah,
sacrificed himself.
yeah. I miss 99. That's why they called him 99.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
Yeah, and Clone Force 99 because of their genetic mutations. Dude,
yeah, bro. Like that's what, and that's what I like about just the continuity, and that's why I kind of see where you're coming from with the Kanan stuff and everything.
yeah,
But like off rip though, like even though like he kind of is probably being set up as something to be the villain with Crosshairs, that's my favorite member of the group. And I
yeah.
like all the rest of the group, but that's my favorite member, bro.
I,
Like
I I like how Wrecker's kind of like the Batista of the group.
facts, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
like he's the comedian, and also like he has like his moments where he's like, okay, you don't have the brains, but
He kind of reminds me of The Rock from Pain and Gain a little
yeah,
bit.
yeah.
Like that's why I wish like The Rock, just to take a quick side segue, The Rock would be a perfect Lobo. Like, bro, a
Yeah.
perfect Lobo. but
Yeah. So
but yeah. So Crosshair is my favorite. Who's your favorite member of the Bad
I
Batch?
I'm an Echo fan because
Okay.
I like even though he like I feel like his engagement with the Bad Batch is like kind of minimal right now, but like I'm an ARC Trooper fanboy, so that's
Okay.
like if I could be a clone trooper, I would be an ARC Trooper. You know
And I
me,
like kind of how they did a bait and switch too with him. Like they kind of set it up to where he might have been the traitor in the Clone Wars when they first rescued him. They kind of left that hesitancy, like, oh, he might still be corrupted by the separatists, blah blah blah. But then
yeah.
they kind of switch it to being crosshairs. But also the reference, the Darth Vader reference when the tech guy, what the fuck is his name? I forgot what his name was. The tech guy, the geek, the geek bull.
Oh, it's not is that Tech?
I think his name might be Tech. I don't know. I
I
forgot.
think yeah, I'm pretty sure it is Tech.
But he told Echo, he said, "You're more machine now than man." That was the Darth Vader reference and everything.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I
yeah,
was
yeah.
really digging that, and I
But do
kind
you
of,
know do you see like the kind of like the correlation between Echo and Hunter right now? You know, the way that like, they're kind of disobeying their superiors, like how Punk Krell was telling Echo, or I think it was I think Echo might have been a lot, or Fives. It was Fives. It
Mhm.
was Fives and Hunter. How they basically, they were going against his orders to do what's right. Just like with you know basically what Hunter did. He's following orders because he think that's what he thinks is right.
Yeah.
It's something that you don't see many times with clones, but when they're given that leniency and they're given that that mind, or that's what they develop, it kind of shows you like, hey man, they like what we seen in episode 3 isn't what what we're seeing now is like. And that's why I love the Clone Wars, because we see these personalities pop out of these clones, and you see like a lot of stuff that you don't see in the prequel trilogy movies is personality, lots of
Exactly.
personality, which it's like, okay, something that we wanted to see. That's in order for us to be attached to these characters.
And that's what I like about these fill-ins with the Clone Wars and everything, going with the prequel trilogy, is that it gives you that emotional like depth and filler that we didn't get with the prequels. Because one of the things that I really like fucked with was they're literally answering the question. So I'll preface it by saying this. One of the things I always felt like, I'm like, all right, how many times are you guys going to go back to the, to the barrel with the whole, oh, we're going to show you what this character was doing during Order 66. Like, okay, how many times are you guys going to, but every time they do it, they open another layer. And I'm like, all right, I'm down to see it
Yeah,
again. And I'm like,
it's
how
like
many
how many.
times can I go back to that well? And every time they go back, it gets better and better,
Yeah,
in my opinion.
yeah, because and that's what it is, that the way that they did with Ahsoka, it was like, man, she was with everybody at that time.
Yeah.
That's what I was like, oh man, come on, Order 66 again. What? Like, she was with everybody. She was with Rex. She was with all basically people that loved her. You know,
Yeah.
and it's crazy to see that it's a different angle every time we see it, but it's the same you know setting.
Mhm. And I like how they're using it. And I wrote a couple things down that stood out to me, but they're answering the questions of why the Empire converted from clones to regular recruits. And that's what I like about Tarkin's character being there, that they're answering
Yes,
that question, which is really
yes,
dope. Because that was one of the things I always wondered. I'm like, all right, how do you go from getting these, efficient clones to going to these recruits that can't hit nothing?
yeah,
You
yeah,
feel me?
yeah, yeah. But that's what it is. It's actually insane because what I don't understand is that when they switch over to the Empire and go to Stormtroopers, I want to know why like the training got dumbed down, because considering that you know most of the time it's clone troopers training regular civilians in combat. Because I'm pretty sure that's what happened to Commander Cody. They brought him over to either Camino or Galactic Empire, training center, like how Ezra went to one, and it was kind of like that. And he was training basically kids or adults to fight in war.
and be stormtroopers.
Yeah,
And that's one of the things I liked about Solo as well. They kind of showed you like the different aspects of like the non-stormtroopers, like the infantrymen of the Empire and everything like that. Like,
yeah. Like the
and that was
Mimban or
yeah,
Mimban.
yeah, yeah. And that was dope to
Yeah.
see. And like just going through it. So how did you feel about Omega? The girl, the kid, the girl character?
Well, like I said before, I liked her because the fact is she's like a character that I kind of wanted to see. You know, we've seen male clone troopers. We've never seen a template of Jango Fett as a female. You
Exactly.
know, it's a whole different ball game. And considering that, you know, now like I want to know what happens to her because it's like will we like did they give her like the genetic altering the way that the clones did, or is she like Boba Fett?
I have a
You
theory
know,
about her. I
maybe closer to the end or right now.
I'm going to say this shit right now. I got to say it right
You
now.
might as well. You might as well. All right.
I think she is going to be a cross between Jango Fett and a Jedi's DNA.
Like
And I think she's
like X1 or X2.
yeah, and I think she might be force sensitive.
Okay. Yeah, because
And I
I
think
know.
I think they're going to tie it into Grogu's story as well. Like this was the Empire. She was the Empire's template for creating these like force sensitive clones and beings and shit like that, which is eventually going to be, I think they're going to lead up and kind of retcon the Last Jedi stuff and explain, oh, they were the template basically for Palpatine's quote unquote new body. You feel me? That
Yeah.
he had in that movie. So
Okay. Yeah, I could see that. Now, I don't know if you ever heard of the Battlefront 3, the original thing that they were supposed to do. This is before the two EA ones, but
okay, okay.
they came out with a story, and it's about the story campaign was about X1 and X2, which were two male clone troopers. They were mixed with half Jango Fett and half Jedi DNA, and they
Okay.
fought on the Republic. But one of the brothers turned to the dark side, the other one turned to the light side, and they were like the brother was hunting down the other brother, and it was a cool story. Now, like that's where I kind of see like a little bit of your idea, like your theory mixed in with that. That would be awesome. That
Because
would
I'm
be
like,
awesome.
why are they being super uber protective of her? Why are they hesitant about and I guess we'll get to that. I'll wait and ask that question because that was at the end of the show.
Yeah,
So I guess we'll move into the training session, man. Like what got one of the things that really gave me that like apocalypse now type of vibe where was when they were in the training session and they turned the live ammunition on them. Like
yeah,
that shit was crazy. I'm like, that's some Tarkin shit. It was dope seeing Tarkin just be Tarkin. Like it's dope as shit. But just seeing their reaction to it and seeing how like how honestly, honestly and obviously superior they are to the clone troopers, to the regular clone troopers, like
yeah,
able to
yeah,
flip on a dime like that and change even when they're beefing. That is literally them at their worst.
yeah, and using just the vibro knives that they have, or the just the skills and the things that they do to defeat. I guess they were like prototype dark troopers or whatever.
Yeah, that's what they look like, didn't they?
Yeah, yeah. So I was like,
Yeah.
okay,
I'm
yeah.
like,
So
is a baby Luke Skywalker about to show up and wreck these
yeah,
folks?
yeah, yeah. Start cutting them down, and we
Dog,
were
but when
all like,
Crosshairs, when he had Record throw the knife and he shot the knife into, I'm like, yo, that shit was fucking awesome, man. Like, oh my
yeah,
god.
yeah.
And that's one of the
Okay, okay, good. Yeah,
I was gonna say
I
the
don't know.
action, bro. The
Yeah,
action in this was amazing. The cinematography of it was amazing. Like even I kind of felt like the duality of like so when Kanan, and I'm going back a little bit, but when Kanan jumped across the ridge and everything, and you
yeah,
just saw like that him on one, Kanan on one side, and Hunter on the other side. I felt like that was kind of a representation of the rift between the clones
and the
and the
Jedi.
Jedi. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
And it's like it's kind of dope that we know like eventually that gets bridged when Ahsoka and Rex find each other again. But it's
yeah,
like just seeing that like that art, like it's just artistic as fuck, man. And I wasn't expecting that from the show. Honestly, I was expecting like run of the mill like Clone Wars stuff. I wasn't expecting it to be as good as season 7 of Clone Wars. I wasn't expecting it to be that good, and it,
Yeah,
in my
yeah,
opinion, it blew it out of the water just in one episode for me right now.
yeah. And I think that half of the final season, like when we first got that kickoff for Clone Wars, I felt it wasn't as strong as this.
Mhm.
This, I don't know, because like when you watch Jedi in the Clone Wars fight or in that style fight, after a while it's like, okay, we know that they can do that, blah blah blah. It's just the same old mundane stuff, but like when you see it happen, like you see like all this cool stuff happen with like clone troopers and like the way that their action scenes play out, I'm like, dude, this is pretty dope. Like
Yeah.
I don't know. That's what I the vibe that I got off of it. It was strong. It was strong. I like the character introduction. I like that they're introducing a villain for the show. Which, if you're ready, we maybe we can.
Well, we'll get because I want to get to the scene first. The scene to me that, and I know I keep going back to Apocalypse Now and everything, but again, the Saw Gerrera scene, bro. Like
Oh my
I
god!
was not expecting him to be in this, but like just that whole speech he gives them and everything, like about leaving, like either embracing, evolving with the future or staying in the past.
Yeah,
And it's like that's kind of where like I think this story's not going to end well for the Bad Batch personally, because there's a reason why we haven't heard about them later on in the timeline. It's
yeah,
not going to end well for them, I don't think.
yeah.
But
I don't think so either. But I like that saying that Saul Guerrero says is when he says when when world changes, your targets change.
oh
And
my god, yes, yes.
dude, it was like yeah, because that's what literally like your entire Clone Wars fight was basically you fighting robots like or droids, and now you're literally given targets that have you know life to them, and
And I know this is going to be kind of controversial
was that
when I say this, but I'm hoping that there was a younger Cara Dune there, possibly.
yeah,
Like, because they said they were Republic fighters, right?
yeah,
They were so I don't know, man. It was just, but going back to what the kind of what you were saying, like just like that, like everything, like, and no one saw's history, knowing where he's going to go in the future, like just seeing all that, and like just the uncertainty within him as well. You feel me? It's so weird that you could find clarity in somebody that's uncertain themselves. Like Saw
yeah,
doesn't know what the hell to do right now, man.
yeah.
Like,
So like, but now actually, I felt like he was definitely certain on what his next mission was is to take down the Galactic Empire. And that's the feeling that I got when I saw Forrest Whitaker in Rogue One, which I felt like it was definitely a good bridge in between what we saw in Clone Wars to what we saw in Rebels to what we saw in Rogue One. It was definitely an evolution. Like, you saw scars on his face.
yeah,
You saw like he's getting to that point where he's probably going to lose a limb because he
yeah,
has that robot leg. He's going to do everything in his power to stop the Empire because he knows that the fight is not over, and that basically the Republic turned against you know and, he knows that the Emperor has too much power right now. It's
exactly.
his
Yeah,
It's he out of all the people in the galaxy. Half the time when you talk to them, they're already bending the knee, but yet Saul Guerrero is like, yeah, these people, like, I'm not going to be like that. I'm literally going to take the fight right to them. You know,
yeah.
it's definitely awesome. It's awesome to see this.
And then like just this standoff, and like the whole time again, and I love how they handle Crosshairs in this, because it's like we know something's like, I at that point I knew what was going on with him and everything at that point, because he kept saying that, I forgot exactly the line, but like following orders and everything like that, a good soldier follows orders. I kind
Yep.
of figured at that point, I was like, okay, I know what's going on with him now. So it's
Oh
like,
yeah, he's John Walker. That's what he is.
yeah.
Break his arm. Take the shield.
But
But that's what it is. That's what he started to sound like was John Walker, and I feel like you have Crosshairs who's John Walker, and you have Hunter who's basically being, Steve
Falcon.
Rogers or
Yeah, or
Falcon,
Steve Rogers. Yeah.
whatever, one of
Yeah.
them.
But I like that standoff they have, like just staring at each other because they know, like at that point, I feel like they knew it's going to come to blows between them. That's why he
Yeah.
keeps putting it off and putting it off because he's like, well, let's get through this, let's get through this. Like that was happening throughout the whole show. Like that confrontation is there. This has to happen, and like just seeing him shoot past his face because he knew he wasn't going to shoot him right then and there. Crosshairs knew, and it's kind of like how well they know each other as well too, which comes up in the end. I guess we could just like go ahead and get to it, probably.
Okay. So at this point, if you haven't watched it yet, please take the time to go and watch it. We're not here to spoil it for you. Okay.
I mean, yeah, because if we spoiled it up to this point, so but this is big spoilers.
Yeah.
Crosshairs has a fucking chip in his head, an inhibitor chip. So immediately,
they all do.
And that's my immediate question: is every season going to be one of them, like the inhibitor chip slowly activating in every single one of them?
I don't think so, because look at what like Crosshairs had to go through in order for it to activate.
True.
And after a while, I think that, I think the inhibitor, like at that moment when Order 66 was kicked off, that inhibitor chip activated, and after a while, after like the initiative was basically there, like it was kind of embedded in their brains, but also the inhibitor chip deactivated, like not deactivated fully though. So when it comes, like a clone trooper comes across the Jedi, they're still gonna kill them. But so basically, I don't know. It could have activated for the rest of them, but we'll have to see. Sorry, my cat's, my cat keeps rubbing across my desk. I'm like trying to like push him away slowly, but now he's hacking up a hairball.
But yeah, man, like so then when the whole situation where like she tried to explain to him, yo, don't come back here, and then they go in, round up their gear and everything. But
yeah,
my favorite scene is the standoff finally, like the coming to a head. So they, obviously they take Crosshairs and they activate his chip. They basically like bump it up to like 1,000 because you saw Omega was talking to him. She was getting through to him. That's I'm like, okay, she's gonna get through to him. Blah blah blah. And then like, no,
but that's what it is with the initiative. You like look when Rex didn't have his chip in. As soon as he disobeyed orders, the entire clone force, the entire clone army considered him a threat.
Yeah, basically like a Jedi, basically.
Yeah. Oh,
so. Yeah, and that's that final standoff when they're in the hangar and just staring at each other, man, like waiting to see what the other's move is going to be because they know each other so well. So he knows what he's going to do, and he knows vice versa. So it was like seeing that standoff and finally just everything coming to a head in Camino. Now, do you think the Camino people? I forgot what they're called. Their race is called. What the fuck is
the Kaminoans?
The Kaminoans. Do you think they're being sleaze bag scientists trying to cover their own ass, or do you think they genuinely care about the clones?
I think they genuinely at this point care about the clones because, like, considering that, they literally said, hey, we're not going to tell the Empire that they escaped. Okay. I feel like
well, that Omega escaped.
Well, that Omega escaped. But also Clone Force 9, I think they're gonna. I feel like in order for Omega to escape and live life, they needed, Clone Force 99 to protect, because you have the entire Galactic Empire on you. What are you gonna do at that point? What are you gonna run and search for a Jedi? Because at that point you're putting a bigger target on your back, because now you have Vader coming for you.
True.
Like honestly, it's probably the low key best situation that you could possibly be in at this time. Because you don't have a Jedi hunter coming after you, and all you have to worry about is, if one of them spills the beans, one of the Kaminoans, which it's something Long Ray or something like that.
I think I don't know the Kaminoans' names like that.
I forget their names. Because I know they showed up in what do you call it, in episode 2 and all that, but. The Kaminoans always like, this is the first time that we've actually seen the Kaminoans show a little bit of
emotion.
Yeah, not emotion, but like care for somebody else. Because
because they kind of left it ambiguous as to what side they were on. You feel me?
Yeah. Well, but
So
like they're like at this point we have to think that the Kaminoans are most likely going to get wiped out
yeah,
because in
they
the
know too
future,
much.
yeah, they know too much, and in the future you don't hear about it at all.
Yeah, and that's why I'm trying to like see a Palpatine because like I'm trying to see like a Palpatine because Palpatine move like a gangster, bro. Real shit. Like he
Yeah,
moves like a gangster. So I'm just
don't you come to
envisioning
me on the day of my daughter's wedding?
you come to me on the day of my son's wedding with his runaway daughter, and you ask me for a favor.
Zap zap zap. That's
But
what
yeah,
happens.
man.
You don't go swim with the fishes. You get electrocuted with the fishes.
But but yeah, so that's and I'll just wrap it up with my theory, dude. I think you're going to see a Inquisitor or some form of Force because I think it's going to be revealed eventually that she's Force sensitive, basically, and they were experimenting with like Django's DNA with Jedi DNA, and that's they created her basically.
So, are you gonna give her fate at the end of Bad Batch a thumbs up or a thumbs down? What do
I'm
you
going to
think
give
is
it a
gonna
thumbs
happen?
up, and I'm going to take my prediction in theory even further. Given the timeline, I think she might show up in Mandalorian and possibly
Yeah,
be a contender. So I think what they're going to be doing with Mandalorian is I think they're going to take it in a Game of Thrones route, and it's going to be a battle for the throne of Mandalore. And she would be a perfect like that would be dope as dope
yeah,
to see basically a Jedi version of Boba Fett. So imagine like
yeah,
her wearing like Boba Fett type armor, and then she like whips out a lightsaber, dude, just on
dude.
screen.
Kind of look like Galen Merrick or Star Killer when he has his like Mandalorian armor that he wears in the game. That would be dope.
Yeah,
But it's awesome to also think about like, hey, like she's related to Boba Fett. That's his
yeah.
sister. You know,
And I think they're going to dog. And I think the reason why they're showing us all this stuff, because I think the next future like sequel trilogy stuff is, and I think they're going to retcon it. I think it's going to be Star Killer, bro. I think the reason why they're showing us all this experimentation, if my theory's right, even if my theory's not right, you still got Grogu out there.
yeah,
You still got the hanging plot thread that they never touched on with Rebels with them taking the force sensitive
yeah, and
cadets and
Ezra.
everything.
Well,
Yeah.
also Ezra. We don't have
Well, I'm
Ezra
talking
back.
about the specifically the
Oh,
Empire experimenting with force sensitive kids.
yeah.
When they took the black kid that he befriended in the cadet academy and everything, he was force
Yeah.
sensitive. Yeah. So I think they're leading us to some form of Star Killer type thing. They're either leading us to an explainer for Palpatine coming back, which I don't think they're going to do because they don't want to piss the fan base off like that. So I think they're going to lead it up to Palpatine, like, oh, this is how Palpatine came back, but this is how you're going to get Star Killer. And I think Star Killer is going to be the next basically like trilogy character in the future after Rey.
That would be awesome because especially coming off the sequel trilogy, we definitely need something that's
We
familiar
need
but
some
also
badass, bro. Real talk.
we
We need
need
some
some yeah,
badass
yeah, we can't have like, like I don't
in the
know,
vein of Mando.
yeah, yeah. And they would definitely have to tone down his power if they bring back Star Killer, which I'm pretty sure Sam Witwer would be down to play.
I think he'll be too old at that point. That's the only
Shut up,
thing.
shut up.
I like him too, man. He was in Supergirl. I like them in Supergirl and everything, but he might be too old, a little bit too old,
Yeah,
man.
yeah. Well, we'll see. I like that theory, but we're gonna have to just wait and see what comes up
And
because
that's something. And like I said, I think it fits perfectly in with the Mando because, like I said, I think they're taking Mando in this Game of Thrones battle for the Mandalorian throne type of story arc. So
yeah,
she would be another a dope contender for the throne.
yeah. So if you ever get a chance, everybody read this comic. Um,
Read this
even though
comic so
it's
you
yeah,
can
get right.
uplift Sam's
Yeah,
bitchery.
yeah. No, let's all get on the low ground and finally kill Obi-Wan. Read the comic. Um, but other than that, I feel like we covered everything. I like this episode. I would definitely give it an 8 out of 10 so far.
I'm giving it a 9.5 out of 10.
You're gonna give it 9.5. All right,
9.5.
I'll go up there. I feel like I was being too generous, by 8, but like I'll go higher with 9.5.
I give it because it's like I said, the tone, the cinematography, the action, the voice acting, everything about this episode was just phenomenal, man.
I wonder if that is I wonder if that is what's it face voicing all the clones, even Clone
Yeah,
Force 99.
that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
We'll have to see.
Oh, we got one more. I got one more question for you too.
What's that?
So who's the guy they're going to go see? You probably know.
Out on L7 or L13, I think.
Wherever he said he was going. I forgot where he said he was going.
It could be. I don't know, because considering that we don't really know who, like Clone Force 99 is interacted with. It could be somebody that could give him like a life. It could, you know what? It could possibly be that clone trooper that was that had a family.
Oh, okay. I know what you're talking about.
Could be him, but I don't know if they met up with him. We don't know. It could be what's her Finnick.
Oh yeah, because she's in the show. Yeah.
Yeah. We don't know. We'll see. We'll find out. I definitely, if I had an idea, I would definitely throw it out there. But honestly, consider I don't know anything else about Clone Force 99 because they're kind of.
It's not that much out there. Yeah.
Yeah, there's not out there. So we'll just have to see who they have connections with.
I just hope like I said, I hope we see a Jedi because I love the Jedi and shit. So I'm hoping we see a Jedi, man.
Yeah, but it's not gonna last too long.
Yeah, because if they stick around, man, they stick around too long. That motherfucker Vader, he young, pissed off, just lost his woman.
Yeah, no.
Now, what the black guy say? That old black dude in Batman versus Superman. He said he's hungry and he's hunting and he got a different type of mean in him.
All right, I think that'll all wrap it up for this episode. Which it's nice to be back.
Yeah. It's been a very dark. We haven't been doing Star Wars Sunday because it's been a very dark time for Star Wars.
Yeah, right, because the fan base split up for a good amount of time with the Cara Dune and everything like that.
Yeah, I kind of see it, dude. I see it percolating with Marvel too. I kind of see it perking up with Marvel too.
With who?
A split in the fan base. If they keep going down the same, like they're not as bad as Star Wars was, but they kind of do some of the similar things that Star Wars does, that they were doing. Yeah. But I trust Feige. Feige's more calculated. He understands the fan base more. But I kind of see that split in the fan base percolating there, especially with Falcon and Winter Soldier, unfortunately.
Yeah. So, I wanted to get away from the drama of Star Wars because I feel like every time I was, associate myself with Star Wars, I felt like the drama with Cara Dune and then all this other stuff. I'm like, you know what, I don't really care. I'm just gonna step away from Star Wars, which felt too long, but now that we're back, I feel really happy, rejuvenated. On May the 4th be with you, and we have 19 minutes left of it.
Yeah, man. It's been a good Force day, man.
Yeah. Make sure you give your praises to the son, the daughter, and the father.
Yeah. Rub Master Yoda's toes. Don't piss off Anakin.
I left Baby Yoda in the car. Shit.
Oh damn! How'd you leave him in the car, man?
Because I left him in there at work too.
Bro, watch out! I heard this guy Moff Gideon's running around snatching up kids, like,
and then running to Pollo Loco with him.
Yeah.
All right, well,
all right, guys.
Star Wars Day, the rest of it. Hopefully, you get to watch this review, enjoy, comment, subscribe.
May the Force be with you. It's like, no.
Do that.
And I heard the voices of a million fanboys screamed out, "Your card is going, my friend."
He's a Trekkie. Take him down.
I'm the worst type. I'm the worst type of fan. I'm a Star Wars fan that likes the new Star Trek movies, bro. Star Trek fans hate me, dog. They hate me.
I actually didn't watch. I watched the first one. Didn't watch the second one or the third one.
The third one was really good, in my opinion. I like the second one personally. I like the second one.
Okay. Okay. I
Because
guess
I
I'll
like
check
more
it out.
action. I like more action on my Star Trek. Like I like the philosophical shit, the TV show. I'm not going for. I fall asleep on the TV shows. I'm not going to lie. I'm sorry, guys, especially the
Yeah.
older ones.
Yeah. Well, that like the next generation. I watched
Nah,
next
like I
gen.
tried to watch the original Star Trek, kept
Yeah.
falling asleep on that shit.
I watched probably the next generation and then first something.
I want to check out that deep. What is it? Deep Space Seven or whatever it's called.
That's what it was. It was Deep Space Seven. I don't know why I was thinking. I was thinking of First Contact. I don't know why, or First Encounter, something like that. But yeah, I used to watch Deep Space Seven with my dad. I didn't know what it was at the time until I saw like my uncle had like a bunch of action figures in a bin,
Mhm.
and I opened it up and it was nothing but Next Generation, and I think they might have had Deep Space Seven. I don't know. Not a big Star Trek fan, so I guess I'll have to
If
check
you
it out.
if you want to watch better sci-fi, watch Battlestar Galactica. Real stuff.
Yeah, I was thinking about watching Battlestar Galactica or Serenity or Firefly. Firefly, that's what it was.
Firefly is fire, dog. Firefly is so
Yeah,
fire,
I,
bro.
I have to watch that. But I guess that'll sum it all up. Like, comment,
Yeah.
subscribe again. I think I already said that, but it's okay.
Yeah, like, comment, subscribe, and share. Emphasis on the comments. We want to hear what you guys thought about Bad Batch. Share the page, y'all, because we trying, you feel me? We trying to reach a fan base out there. You heard?
Yeah.
We trying to we trying to share our love with you, the fans.
And let us know, like, if you disagree with what we said, especially
I still have the high ground, even if you
yeah,
disagree. So
whatever. But so if you disagree with what we said, or you agree with us, or if you have theories, throw them down in the comment section. We're there to listen, reply. All right.
I'll reply and tell you how wrong you are. So thank you for
Right.
sending that.
I'm gonna send a comment right down to the thing.
Peace.